Hermanas, hermanos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Una vez más, su servidor, el Padre Agustín de Diego, para platicar un poquito con Zachary King, este hermano que, siendo sacerdote satánico, practicando las artes oscuras, llega un momento en su vida donde se convierte bajo la intercesión de la Santísima Virgen María. Y pues nos cuenta su testimonio de cómo fue su conversión, pero vamos a dejar que él nos comente, nos cuente cómo ha sido su conversión y lo que ha llevado de la oscuridad a la luz. Zachary, ¿cómo estás? Pues aquí queriendo que nos comentes sobre tu testimonio, y yo quisiera hacerte algunas preguntas sobre tu conversión y cómo fuiste pasando de la oscuridad a la luz. Te quiero preguntar, Zachary, ¿por qué decidiste hacer un pacto con el diablo? ¿Cuándo y cómo fue este?
So when I was almost 13, this older kid said, "You know you're a member of a satanic coven, right?" And I laughed it off. But a couple of days later, I went back to a coven member, an adult that I knew, that I trusted. And I said, "Hey, I got something for you. You're going to laugh. I heard this is a satanic coven. Crazy, right?" And he said, "It is. Would you like to be a member?" And I got scared. My heart dropped into my stomach, and I couldn't imagine, like, how did I get this far? Like, how am I suddenly in a satanic coven? This wasn't anything like it was in the movies. Like in the movies, there was a distinct good guy and a bad guy. And here Satan blurred the lines quite a bit. And everything I wanted to do, I got to do. Like my parents were the no police. Anything I wanted to do. Dad, there's a new movie coming out this Friday. Can I go? No. Dad, the Moody Blues are coming to town. Can I go? No. Dad, can I? No. After a while, you just look at my dad a certain way. No. But over there, hey, the Moody Blues are coming to town. Yeah, we're going to go see them that night. But Friday, during the day, we're going to go to a movie instead. Well, it's the same movie I wanted to go see. Everything I wanted to do, Satan was right there to say yes. So, I'm thinking, do I really want to join this Satan character? Well, Satan says yes to everything I want to do. God says no. My parents say no. Maybe I do want to join this Satan guy. He seems pretty cool. So I asked, what do I have to do to join? They said there's 13 steps, and I've done most of them already. What I have left to do is slice my left thumb and bleed onto a document. And then I have to sign the document in 3 places. It's a 5-page document. On page 1, the blood of Jesus washes away all sin, but not mine. On page 2, Jesus died for everyone, but not me. And I sign my name to that. On the final page, I agree to sell my soul to the devil.
Es interesante lo que tú comentas y quisiéramos ahondar un poquito más. Ahora quisiera preguntarte, Zachary, ¿es imposible vender el alma al enemigo? Dinos por qué.
Now, has anyone out there listening to my voice, have any of you sold your soul to the devil? Just in case you have and you're worried about that, don't be. Go to confession. All you can do is give your will to the devil. You cannot sell what you do not own. You don't own your soul. You cannot loan it, lease it, let him borrow it. You can't do anything with it. You have no bargaining power with your own soul. Even if you tell him, I give you my soul, You haven't. You can give the devil your will. When you go to confession, you give your will back to God. Now, Satan will lie to you and tell you he owns your soul. He does not own your soul. Jesus owns your soul. Remember Jesus? The guy that died on the cross for you? He died on the cross for you. He has your soul, not you, and certainly not the devil.
Pues ciertamente el alma, como tú indicas, no se puede vender, pero quisiera ahora preguntarte, cuéntanos sobre el poder de la Santísima Virgen María y la medalla milagrosa que fue lo que te llevó de alguna forma a reconocer el poder de Dios y cómo la Virgen pisó la cabeza de la serpiente y lo sigue haciendo para derrotar las obras del mal.
So, one day this woman came in and she wanted to buy a pair of gold tooth earrings. And I sold her what I thought was the perfect pair. And then I gave her the receipt and I said, if you call the 800 number on this receipt and take a survey, you might win $1,000. And she's like, great, I've got something for you too. And she reaches in her purse and I thought, oh no, she's going to pull out a Jack Chick pamphlet. She's going to tell me that I'm sinning and I have to get on my knees and face God and all these options that I don't really have because, you know, I sold my soul to the devil when I was 13. And instead, she pulls out a little gold disc. Now, I recognize gold jewelry. I recognize cheap gold jewelry because we sell it. And she pulls out this gold-colored cheap piece of tin. And she tells me, this is very powerful. Well, I know Christians don't bless anything. And then she says the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Now, I partied with rock stars. I helped make about 1,200 rock stars, because that's what the devil does. He works through the Illuminati, and I worked with the Illuminati for 12 years. So she says the weirdest thing I've ever heard. She said, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. I grew up Baptist. I'm thinking, Blessed Mother, Isis, Gaia? I have no idea who the Blessed Mother is. Now, her telling me it's powerful, though, I'm taking this as a challenge. Like, at one time, there was 7.2 billion people in the world, and there could be between 1 and 10 high wizards in the world. So let your brain wrap around that. There could have been 7.2 billion people, and I could have been the only high wizard. That's an ego trip and a half. That's really cool. And you're trying to tell me that this blessed miraculous metal, that I didn't know that's what it was, is stronger than me? No. You're not telling me that. That's not the message I'm getting from you. The message I'm getting from you is that you think there's some mystique with this metal, but it can't do anything to me. It has no power over me. And I stuck my hand out. She looked so pleased that I was willing to take it. Of course, she didn't know I was willing to take it, and then I was going to toss it on the floor or slam it on my jewelry counter and tell her it's worthless. This has no power. There's no mystique to this. This can't do anything to me. Sure, let me have it. And I stuck my hand out, and she dropped this blessed miraculous metal in my hand. And I clenched my fist around it, and suddenly I'm transported away from my mall and away from my store, and I'm in a darkened void, and it's me and this woman, Marianne Wickman, and she's explaining about the magic spell I did the night before that no one else knows I did. And she knows about the 120 churches I split, and that's of the devil. And the 146 abortions I committed, and that's of the devil. And she tells me about 8 or 9 other sins, and she ends every statement with, and that's of the devil. And now I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. I can't do magic with her. I can't battle her because her magic is stronger than mine. Let's go back to, I could have been one high wizard in 7 billion people. I did not have the strength to give somebody a worthless gold-colored piece of tin, transport both of us to a darkened void, and know all their sins. Her magic is beyond mine. And I'm terrified. And she says again, the Blessed Mother is calling you into her army. And I knew instantly that was the Mother of God. And when I recognized it as the Mother of God, Mary showed up. And she smiled at me. At that moment, I was acutely aware of my 146 assisted abortions. And I knew I did not deserve this smile. But she smiled at me. And she took me by the hand that had the metal in it. And she turned me around. And Divine Mercy Jesus was standing behind me. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what Divine Mercy was. But here these rays of light shooting over me and under me and around me and through me. And I knew I did not sell my soul to the devil when I was 13. I knew that Jesus Christ was my Lord and Savior. I knew that all my magic, my occult, my New Age, my Satanism was a box of false promises. And I knew everything that's Catholic was truth. And the Blessed Mother told me my job was to help her end abortion. And I opened my hand, and I was back in my store, back in my mall. This woman was telling me where she went to Mass. And I wrote down everything that she said and started going to daily Mass there the next day. I came into the church in May of 08. I was given the medal in January of 08. If you want to know more about my history and my past, look up allsaintsministry.org. And I have a lot of instructional videos there. Thank you for tuning in.
Así es, Zachary, pues la Virgen, una criatura, madre del verdadero Dios por quien se vive, pues ella lo pisa. Ahora quisiera preguntarte, Zachary, ¿cuál es el poder del Santo Rosario? Y si este rosario, que nos ha inspirado la Virgen, puede detener el pecado tan aberrante del aborto.
I was asked a question as to whether the rosary stops abortion. When the Blessed Mother asked me to help her end abortion, that my job was to help her end abortion, I just accepted that. Like, okay, that's my job. But a few weeks later, I was going to adoration every day, and I'm seeing Jesus every day, and I'm not getting any instruction really. So I asked, excuse me, Jesus, your mom said that my job was to help her end abortion, but I don't know how. And he said, oh, wait just a second. And then his mom showed up and she said, use what you know. And she was gone. And use what you know made all the sense to me because of stuff that I had seen over the last 26 years. As a high wizard, I performed 146 assisted abortions. I performed 149. 146 of them worked. 3 of them did not. One of the stories of one of those that did not was I arrived in time to do the abortion. I arrived with the abortion doctor and with my entourage. And we all set up and we're going upstairs and there's these large jalousie windows. Large jalousie windows have a hand crank on them. So you crank them up and the windows open up. And the people outside were chanting something. They started off with, there was a satanic biker gang on our side of the road, and on the other side were a bunch of people quietly chanting. Well, we were Satanists, we chanted, so we recognized chanting. And then at some point, we noticed that they're on their knees and they're chanting with even more fervor. Like they seem happily chanting. And so we opened the jalousie windows to see what they were saying. And when we opened the windows, then we could hear that it was, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. And as they're saying that, I'm saying that part. So I can repeat back what they're saying. And then when the second part starts, a handler is the person that brings you whatever your favorite sins are. If you've got a cocaine addiction, they're the person that brings you your cocaine. Or whatever your addiction is, they bring you whatever that is. So my handler is there, and he starts repeating back, Holy Mary, Mother of God. But we start laughing at that point. Because we're Satanists and we're thinking, who could be the Mother of God? Nobody. So we laugh that off. And they continue chanting, and we turn the jalousie the other way and close the window. And we go back over to where the abortion is taking place. And the doctor says, let's get going. It's that time. The woman is doing this as a breeder. Her job is to have an abortion. Her job is to get pregnant so she can have an abortion. The rest of the people in the room are doing the chant. Everything's ready to go. And the doctor checks and he says, you're not even dilated. Why are we here? And the woman is like, is this your first rodeo? I'm clearly ready. The baby's in the birth canal. Let's get going. And he says, you're not ready. And so she looks at me and she says, is this your first rodeo too? And I said, no, but I'm not a doctor. I don't even know what dialyzed means. I don't know what you need me to do. And she said, will you check and tell them that I'm ready for the abortion? I said, I can't tell you that. I don't know when you're ready. She's like, the baby's in the birth canal. It's ready now. So I kind of stick my hand in, but I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm telling the doctor, I don't know. And he says, I'm telling you, she's not ready. It's not ready for She's not dilated. She's not ready. And she's yelling at me and yelling at him, and she's cussing us out. It's like 5 minutes of solid cussing out. She's mad. I'm mad because I've wasted my day. I'm supposed to be doing an abortion right now, and she's not ready. And the woman's cussing us out. The doctor says that he can come back later tonight. I said, I can't do that. I've got stuff to do. And the woman's talking to us, and we hear a baby cry. And we both look down, and the baby's come out. Now, at that coven, if you kill the baby in the womb, then it's an abortion. And if you kill the baby outside the womb, it's murder. So you can't kill the baby outside the womb. And it failed. We had a failed abortion. And at that time, if that happens, then we have a nurse and a
social worker.
My assistant's trying to help me, but I can't hear because my headphones are noise canceling. What?
Social worker.
Social worker, thank you. A social worker that comes in and they get the adoption started, and the baby goes out to a family that wants to adopt it. The Satanists don't want to adopt it. Satanists wanted to murder it. But we don't want to get a murder charge. So when I returned back to the office, I checked on the paperwork of all the failed abortions. And in my report, I wrote that people were praying on prayer ropes, Jesus beads, prayer beads, and worry beads. And that's all the reports I pulled up were like that. It had wording similar. No one said rosary. If we'd all said rosary, I'd have realized that praying the rosary is what's canceling the abortions. But those words weren't used. So I didn't figure that's what was being, that's what was happening. But as it turns out, having the rosary said stops the abortion. Abortion is the fuel that Satan uses to run his satanic machine. So every time an abortion is done, and it's not just every time they're done, because abortions around the world are dedicated to Satan every night across all the time zones at 3 a.m. And it's by Satanists and witches. And there's some people that don't consider themselves Satanists and witches, and they still dedicate the abortions. Because if you're giving the devil what he wants, he will grant you back certain powers as well, certain gifts, so to speak. And it's not always what you want exactly. I mean, when you sell your soul to the devil to be a rock star, you're not always the rock star you want it to be. Sometimes you got a few $100,000 instead of a few $1 million. Or you got a brand new Toyota instead of a Lamborghini, but you still got a new car. So there's, it's not just, it's everything that's evil in the world is funded by something. Everything that's wrong or wicked is funded by something. You know, if you're wondering about the strip club around the corner or the bar around the corner that's always got a fight on it, every Saturday night somebody's getting stabbed, well, that's not godly. Who do you think's supplying the satanic power for that? How many abortions are you having in your county or your city or your state or your country every night? You know, in America, we have 1.3 million dead babies every year. That's just in Planned Parenthood, and that's by their own numbers. That's what they claim they do. So 1.3 million dead babies every year by just Planned Parenthood. That's a lot of satanic fuel.
Pues sí, Zachary, efectivamente el rosario es un arma poderosísima que nos lleva precisamente a acercarnos a Jesús y a derrocar a la muerte y al pecado. Ahora, Zachary, quisiera preguntarte, ¿la consagración a la Virgen María es poderosa? Tú que estuviste del otro lado, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo se ve el poder de la Virgen sobre las fuerzas oscuras, sobre el poder del mal, sobre Satanás y sus secuaces?
Now, it's extremely important to consecrate. The graces that you get, and every time you do something, if you're not consecrated, you do things and eventually you think, oh, I need to join that pain and suffering to join Jesus on the cross and let the Blessed Mother use that grace for whatever she wants. But when you're consecrated to Mary, she automatically comes and gathers that grace and uses it for whatever she wants. Now, you might decide, you know, I would also like that to go to this other cause as well. Well, grace doesn't have to be limited to one thing, so you can do that. But on top of what you're giving the grace to the Blessed Mother for, she's using it for whatever she wills, which she's smarter than we are, so she knows, you know, what she should be putting that towards. Now, I tell people there's the three methods, and St. Maximilian Kolbe and St. Louis de Montfort are both kind of daunting. There's a lot of stuff you have to do. But I'm an extremist, so doing one of those two was a no-brainer for me. But I did both.
Y finalmente, Zachary, yo quisiera preguntarte ya para finiquitar esta grandiosa entrevista, ¿cuál es la principal herramienta del combate espiritual? ¿Pudiéramos hablar del estado de gracia? ¿Qué nos comentas al respecto?
You guys should learn something about spiritual warfare and learn how to fight, because if you understood the laws of spiritual warfare, you'd be in a state of grace all the time.
Pues Zachary, muchísimas gracias por tu testimonio, por tus respuestas, por el testimonio que nos has dado, por el perseverar y que a pesar de las situaciones que has vivido, de tu enfermedad, de los ataques del mismo el maligno y de las persecuciones que has sufrido, pues sigues adelante en el combate de la fe, perseverando hasta el final. Que Dios los bendiga a todos y los proteja la Virgen con su intercesión.
Únete a la cruzada de Rosario por México. Al menos 12 millones de personas rezando diario el Rosario. Es por ti, por tu familia y por la paz de México. La Virgen de Guadalupe, patrona de México, derrama muchas bendiciones sobre nuestro país. Sin embargo, necesita un ejército de personas que se unan en esta batalla con el arma más poderosa, el Santo Rosario. Señor, bendice nuestro México. Ayúdanos a amarte y a amar a nuestros hermanos. Señor, te pedimos perdón por nuestras ofensas. Te rogamos humildemente que tu corazón misericordioso derrame las bendiciones que México necesita. Vivimos en tiempos difíciles y hoy más que nunca te necesitamos pedir por nuestras familias, trabajos y nuestro país. ¿Y tú qué puedes hacer? Únete a esta cruzada de Rosario por México. Al menos 12 millones de personas rezando diario el Rosario y por medio de la intercesión de la Virgen de Guadalupe, Reina de México, nuestra historia puede dar un giro. Nuestras oraciones serán escuchadas. Regístrate en www.rosariopormexico.com.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube e Instagram. Rosario por México.